Hello again to you, soul brothers and sisters, and welcome to episode 6 of Spiritual Awakening Journey. Again, this series is about my personal spiritual awakening and the spiritual awakening of others, and important concepts, whether psychological, whether about energy, whether about healing, and all possible things. And we'll be sharing and commenting with other soul brothers and sisters their own journey as well. So, as I said before, the videos are I'm gonna be making them shorter, and I'll be focusing on specific topics. In the videos, you'd rather watch them one after the other because they are connected. So today I'm going to focus. Last time I talked about love, how everything we are trying to do, whether build riches, whether be successful, whether look super pretty, whatever we are trying to do, is because we want to be loved and appreciated. And I did talk before about how the universe is testing us. So if we consider that Earth is a school and we are here to learn, for our souls to grow. So imagine you are a teacher. Let's say you are a math teacher. If you had a student and your student could not understand a specific topic about division, fraction, whatever. So you give him the first problems to solve. He doesn't manage to, or she. So what do? You sort of give him another paper with similar exercises, but you change the numbers and the order, and maybe he'll learn a bit more, and then you give another one similar, but the number has changed, and so on, until he gets the pattern. He notices the pattern and understands what you are trying to teach him. When he sees the pattern, the repetitive patterns, he goes like, ha, I got it. He gets it. And the same thing happens to us in our awakening journey. So I'm gonna tell a story about myself to illustrate that. So I had a pattern that stems from a lack of love, looking for love, because my mother didn't love me enough and all that, the victim. We are in the victim. All of us, we go through that at first. I'm not loved enough by my family, or maybe by my husband, or whoever that is. So where do we go and look for love? In relationships. So I had a boyfriend 2 years, for 2 years in my 20s, and I was so madly in love with him, and it took me 14 years. We separated. It took me 14 years to be able to get him out of my system. I clang into that person and that love, and why did he leave me, and all this. And the funny thing is that now he's after me, after 14 years of having hurt me so badly, and went and dated other women and all this. Now he's after me, but of course now I don't want to, because I am awakening. So it took me 14 years to get out of it and to understand that I was clinging to a concept of having someone there for me. Did he truly love me? If we think about it, not really. If someone loves you, someone does not hurt you that much. So I managed to get out of it. But what did I do? I jumped into the opposite and I said, okay, I don't want love. I want just a good person, because he was the naughty type of guys that women are attracted to, you know, the bad boys with the Harley and all this. So I wanted this good guy who comes from good family. I just wanted someone good and nice to me. That's all I wanted, you know? And I thought I found that one, but that one, oh my God, destroyed me into 1,000 pieces, and it was all fake. Nice on the outside, but empty on the inside. And it also took me a lot of time to get out of that. And I forgot to mention my first love ever, which to this day is, my heart chakra expands and shines when I think of that person who went and married my friend. But that person reached out to me 30 years after, just recently, to say sorry. And ironically, I couldn't hate that person. I loved him so much. So let's get that person out. I'm gonna focus on two. The one that I cling to for 14 years, and then the other one that I chose was nice and supposedly serious relationship and all that. Who, my God, how much he lied to me and all this. But they are not to blame. They are not to blame once you understand that it comes from you. You understand that they are not the ones to blame. So why did I attract these people, and what is the universe trying to show me? So just as I go back to the teacher who gives the first exercise, the student doesn't get it, then he gives another exercise. So the universe would give us another new situation. We think it's new, but then if you dig deeper and you try to see the similarities, what's similar here? What is the universe trying to teach me? Then you will see what's happening. So what was for me to learn from that was, so the first person, it took me 14 years. The second, the nice one, took me also many years. And after that, I decided I don't want to fall in love anymore. But then I dated again, and guess what the universe did? Now, my guides made it really funny. Now I laugh with them, and it's like, really, guys, and I'm grateful that they gave me these hints. Remember when I started seeing synchronicities and signs, and because I started awakening, my third eye started opening up to see this. So then after these two guys, the universe gave me one person with the exact same name as the nice, good person, okay? But who is empty from within. Almost similar, almost similar. But at first sight, you wouldn't, because they look different, their jobs are different, there are differences. But when you notice, okay, what's happening? The same name, and it's okay. That's it. That's all I've noticed at first. Then we broke up, and I got to meet another guy with the exact same name and disposition as the first bad boy, who was divorcing and still had issues with his wife and all this. So same name, same disposition. Here, it was too obvious. It's like, okay. There is repetition here. There is pattern. What is the universe trying to teach me? In short, now, if it took me 14 years to get out of the first relationship with the bad boy, and maybe 10 years to get out of the relationship with the nice but empty from within guy, When I met the second nice and empty from within, it took me quite some time to tell him, I'm sorry, we cannot go on in this relationship. And there is this guilt. I don't know why there is this guilt. If you date someone and you want to tell them, I'm sorry, I don't want to continue in this relationship, they go all hostile with you and you are the bad person. And I just don't get it. I get it actually. That's because of attachment. It's attachment. So, what I have learned is to detach faster. That is the first thing I learned. If it's not working, if the person is making you feel less than you are, I mean, you are not good enough, if they are not pushing you towards your best potential, it is time to say no. If you are miserable in this relationship, what am I getting out of it? Just company, someone to go out with, or I don't want to feel alone? I'd rather be alone than be miserable with someone. So with the nice guy, repetitive second time, I learned to detach a little faster. And then with the new boyfriend, same name as the bad boy, I detached even faster. Okay, because I understood it was a pattern. I learned that I should not cling. If it's not working for me, I simply have to get out. Whether they hate me or try to culpabilize me, okay, it is their emotions, okay, this is difficult to deal with. And then the universe tested me another time, because the second bad boy who is still divorcing, it also hurt me a lot. And you know, the pain, and, why is he leaving me? Why did he betray me? And no, the final test I had in terms of relationship, my series of tests hasn't ended, but now I'm focusing on relationships. The final one, although he was a starseed, a light worker, supposedly an enlightened person, he made me go through the series of making me jealous and all these things, and I thought I found the right person. He's a light worker, he's a starseed. But then I understood that no person, starseed or no starseed, awakened or not awakened, should ever do manipulation and schemes to make me jealous, to attract me to them, okay, to make me love them. This is distorted, this is sick. That person still has a lot of healing to do, no matter how much powerful he is, no matter how much he connects with the higher realms. In this instant, I got out of it. I snapped out of it quickly because I understood my lesson. I do not deserve to be treated as shit, no matter how great the person is in front of me. I am great as well, because I am that I am, the light of God. I am divine as well, and I deserve all the love and all the respect in the world. The second thing I understood is that we are all learning, we are all healing, so let us not blame any of these people. Although I used to blame them before, now I don't. They have their own issues to sort out, and I don't have to be in the middle of the way to get all the kicks from them, all right? So snapping out of it quickly and claiming and saying to the universe that I am good enough and I deserve to be treated with respect. Okay, so I deserve all the best in the world, the best love, the purest, and that is what I wish to manifest. Although lately, I don't know, wherever I go, especially here, things are weird in Turkey, and even when I was in my home country in Lebanon, I got too approached by too many people who want sex and just sex, and that's all they are focused on. This is low frequency. This is low frequency. I want someone who cherishes my presence, my being who I am. My being who I am, although I'm no longer the person I was years ago, but who cherishes my company and my energy and my frequency. That is what I want, and I will keep on saying no to anything less than that. So, you see the repetition? I removed lots of other stories. I'm observing. So, events that are happening. Once you start awakening, you start seeing this pattern. And once you ask the universe, ask and you shall be given. Ask and you will be given answers. Your guides, your teams of support will come and give you answers. And this does not only apply to relationships. I just use this as an idea to explain that we have to go through the same test again and again and again until we instantly snap out of it. If we see there is something wrong, we get out of it until we have mastered that. So what exactly also are we mastering? Snapping out of it, refusing anyone to drag us into low frequency energy of manipulation, jealousy, even if they claim that they are enlightened or whatever. Let them shovel that into their ass, because the second guy who was still divorcing and so on, repetitive of the first guy, the bad boy, he was a TM teacher with the spiritual ego and all the I never suspected that a person like that would be so narcissistic, would have so much unresolved issues, and would hide them and project and torment you so much. So it could get tricky. Do not judge the book by its cover. Maybe the silliest looking person is the brightest person for you. So it's all these tests. To snap quickly out of it, as I said, the lesson learned to have value for self and discernment. It's a lesson of discernment and value of self, and refusing to go on that path. And this is not just, as I said, in relationship. It could be in your work. It could be in your family. For instance, in my family, for years, I've spent years and years trying to be accepted by my family, trying to be loved. Regardless of all the success that I have done, regardless that I was the first in all universities, regardless of that I wrote a book and it was nothing, cold, never appreciated. If you do one error, if by any chance they find these videos, they will attack me. How dare you talk like that? I remember I wrote a blog one day about an experience on my teenage something, and then my brother comes, you are talking about this person, you are putting your laundry out there, and this judgment, I remember my therapist, and he is one of the greatest gifts the universe has sent me, one of the great teachers I've had the honor of having in this lifetime, who told me you are in a very suppressive environment, and even if we have I'm going to try to translate, even if you offer them gold or diamond, or you are all shining with diamond and gold, it will, if you raise the 10 fingers for them, it will never be enough for them. They will always judge you. Why? Because they are still in the system, they are still in the indoctrination, they are still in the status quo, how to please, how not to please, being successful, the ego and the image and all that, they don't function from the heart and the unconditional love. I'm not judging them. I'm not judging them. I used to judge them before, but then I learned that just like them, I also have a lot to learn. Okay, so the tests are, as I said, could be in family. Once I understood that I was trying to please them, I stopped doing this and I started doing things on my own. But then time passes and etc. And then you fall into the trap again. And I found myself again trying to please them, trying to please love me. I am good. I am a good person. I have lots of skills and talents. And no, the blaming and the shunning became stronger and stronger, and so strong that it was so obvious. I looked up into to my guides. Here I started getting connected and understanding what's happening, seeing the patterns, looking. The funny thing, when you start connecting really with your higher self, I asked my guides, please spoon feed me, please make the signs very obvious to me. And it was totally absurd. I was in a situation where anyone, all the neighbors and all my friends were there for me. I was ill, I was sick. Everyone was supporting me with love, asking about how I'm feeling, except my family, who kept on boom, boom, boom. Here it was too obvious. The sign was too obvious. So what I did is just, I packed my bag and I left the country altogether. And I did not tell them because they will argue what you are doing, where you are going to, I didn't want to go into that energy anymore. I am worthy enough, I am good enough, and I'm leaving that poisonous place. And the universe supported me, of course, on my decision, and I'm grateful for that. So you see, we go into the pattern again and again. We sometimes drift back again into that pattern, and then we go up, and then we are put in another situation. It could be harder, the situation more obvious for us to see. What is repetitive? Always look for what is repetitive. Now, you think that after all this clearing, all these years of clearing and purging of trauma, that we are done and we're fine now, but we are not. And ironically, last week, I was also put in another series of another test, another major test. And at first I went back into my self-pity, and I went back into fear. The fear and self-pity. Am I not good enough? Come on, I've given the very best I can. Why is this happening to me? So, in short, to sum up, it had to do with work, but the emotion is the same. This is what I'm saying. This new scenario or new paper that for us to solve that they may give us could look different. I mean, if the shirt or the people would change, the situation could be maybe not family this time, maybe people at work, but the emotions that are still stuck there are still the same. So I was sent this family and to supposedly teach, and I know why I was there. There is this young indigo child that I was supposed to help heal, actually. So I was this light coming into this house, and for the first time, the poor boy was 11 years old and no one diagnosed him. You have to see how miserable he was, how broken his soul was. He was in a family where they are all in darkness. Darkness means they do not know. Okay, and I came there and I gave him his self-confidence again, and his energy was so wonderful. It's the new energy of earth, play and joy, and his pure diamond white energy. And I loved going there, helping him. I diagnosed him, I'm not gonna say what, okay, and I prepared a very specific course for him. Imagine 11 years passed by, not one teacher was able to diagnose him. Damn it, it was too obvious. Come on, guys, it was too obvious, no one noticed. So I'm helping him. We are making progress, and I'm so happy for the boy. Okay, but then after that, the man in the house left. He was the light. He was appreciative of what I was doing, though he wouldn't say the words. I would feel it. I sense energy. He left from here, and then the women in the household turned on me. And whenever I'd go, they stopped all the activities I was doing for the boy that were helping him, that were essential for him. They started telling me how I should teach, bringing me back to the old energies of teaching, which are like that, in a box, no fun, no play, no multidimensionality, no creativity, nothing, bringing me to the old paradigm. And they started becoming hostile with me. When I felt humiliated, and I kept on going just for the boy, waiting for the father to come back so that I tell him, okay, and be honest. And it is really sad. It's really sad. It broke my heart. I mean, absolutely. I kept on going. It was hurting me. Then I put new rules to the father. I told him, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, this is what happened. He understood what happened, but he did not have enough authority to give to me. I'm not gonna go into detail. So I brought the child. I asked for the child to be brought to my space. I don't want to be in that dark energy anymore, because I still wanted to help the child. You understand? So I had to change and buy all sorts of stuff for the boy to feel home and happy. And what happens? They only bring him to my place a few times, and then, without telling me that they don't want to, they did the same thing before. The same way. They started giving reasons, he's sick and so on, and then it stopped. And that broke my heart into 1,000 pieces. It broke my heart into 1,000 pieces. Why? Because first, finances dropped suddenly, and I was in need of that. So here I entered into a pattern of fear. Okay, and that same pattern, that same thing happened, same scenario happened October last year, where I was at the end of my resources and in a space of fear. So I understood the universe wanted me to not to go into fear. The second pattern, the lesson was, where you go to shine your light, okay, you have so much to give, and yet you are criticized, and all this reminds me of the family. Whatever I did, criticism would come in. That is the second thing. No, I am worthy. I will not allow anyone to shun my light. I will shine my light on the rooftop. You remember Jesus said in the Bible, if you go somewhere, they don't listen to you. What do? Clear your clothes and get out. And this is what I have done. But why I stayed brooding on this idea for a few days, until I talked to a star sister, and I was so much in pain, and she gave me this little word in here, and then that helped me snap out of it, because I was asking my guides, why is this being repeated, this exercise? What exactly you need to learn? You need me to learn from this situation. And then I stumble upon Dolores Cannon. But let me tell you what emotion I was going through. I was brooding and I was sad. How could they treat me so unfairly? How could they treat me so unfairly? Finally, someone came, diagnosed their child. They thought he was totally stupid. They fucked up his morale and I helped him. How could they not thank me, be appreciative? Instead, they would destroy me. How could they do that? So I understood, and it broke my heart not to be able to see that boy and help him myself, because they knew I was preparing and writing and preparing courses for him, and no one told me, and I spent hours working on them in vain. So what emotion? I asked. This brooding, I mean, you know, when you have hurt and pain and you wish to say it to the people in front of you, you hurt me, you were unfair with me, you were unjust, you did not give me credit for what I have done, and on top of that, you have humiliated me with your behavior. And what do you want? You want them to apologize from you only. They are in the darkness and they will not do it. They will not be able to do it. I tried to confront the mother before when she started, you know. I told her, you hurt my feelings with what you did. What did she do? She is in a place of fear and anxiety and all the stress. And I realized now that I am out of the situation, that it was, this energy was coming into my own field and my own. Why should I feel so stressed? I'm happy. We are making great progress with the boy. We should be celebrating. When I confronted her the first time that you hurt me, she rejected things against me. She did not want to hear. You know, these people have earplugs in their ears. If you are expecting, of course, if we have been treated unjustly, we would want thy brother, our brother, to come and say to us, I am sorry I hurt you. It was not unfair. We want to hear that, truly. But when they are still unawakened, asleep, and in fear, especially in fear, they become angry and hostile with you and they hurt you. So here we need to discern that they are still there. It hurts that I did not get my apology. It hurts a lot. This is what I was brooding on for many days. And then I was asking my guys, please release me from this pain. Why? Release me. What is it you want me to learn? What are you trying to teach me? I fall upon a YouTube Dolores Cannon, a reminder of the shift in between 3D and 5D Earth is that shitty things will happen to you, and it is your emotions, the reaction you choose to do towards that is what is decisive, decisive in what happens, whether you go into 3D or shift into 5D. It means, what I'm trying to say, let's say someone really was horrible with you, I mean unfair, unjust. If you still want them to apologize, why did they do this to me? It's the reaction. If you are still there, it means there is still an energy cord between you and them. Unresolved issues, you want them to apologize, and you are still in the cycle of karma, and you would want to reincarnate again so that they, you heal from that. Now, once you realize that, your reaction towards, no matter how awful the behavior is, the best thing to do is to admit it. Yes, it was not fair, but not to react to it. This reaction is what will keep us drowned into lower frequency. These pains, you remember these pains that I'm feeling within me, inside me, They drop my frequency and they affect my body, and they might cause me to be ill. And they stem from the repetitive thought, they did this, it's not fair, they did this, it's not fair. Stop. This is what the universe wanted me to see. Stop. The sentence I've heard from Dolores, it's your reaction to these unfair situations. Because yes, we knew we would be put in unfair situations. And in the ascension learning process, as I understood again by Archangel Michael, his channeled messages, where he invites us to be in a space of neutrality, and channeled messages from the Arcturians, be in a neutral space. Yes, they will do bad things to you. Wherever you go, maybe in the supermarket, in the shop, in the job, you need to be in that still, unmovable place. Let the energy go in and get out of you without being affected. You understand that it is not fair. You don't judge it. Because we are not better than them. We have been like them in some point of our life before we have corrected this behavior. And we still have a lot to correct. I understand. I do not judge them. And I do not blame myself. Am I not good enough? No, I was good. And I gave the best I could. And I do not wait for any apology. So that's it. You allow. It goes in and it goes out. Like Anthony de Mello said, you let it in, it's one symphony, and then it goes out. So this is the lesson that I needed to learn. And Dolores says, they asked her, when will the shift will be between, the separation between 3D Earth and 5D Earth? She said, whenever there are no more people in between. Those who function from action, reaction, manipulation, and all that stuff, low frequency, and those who are in a space of joy, flow, I am enough, I am good enough, I am light, I went and I shone my light in a dark place, and it was time for me now to step out and move in and shine my light somewhere else. So I understood that I still am not mastering this emotional reaction of unfair situations that happen to me, but I am much better than before. Before, I would brood into maybe many months and it may be years of depression and anxiety and all this. It would affect my self-esteem and all this. Now it was shorter. It affected me for a few days and then I readjusted. But I'm pretty sure that the universe will be preparing a new test for me. It will be preparing a new test for me. And I asked the universe to make the signs clear for me to see, clearer, to spot them instantly, so that I do not react instantly. How did I react to the unfair and unjust situation? My reaction. So I'm gonna be going through, I'm sure, as much test as necessary until I reach what we call a 0 point energy. You don't get influenced, you radiate unconditional love. But to get there, my friends, I must admit, it's gonna take a lot of time. With all of us, it's gonna take a lot of time. And those who pretend, who have healed everything and did all the work, that's why I don't believe it. We are still going through purging and clearing. And if you have gone through any of these situations similar to that, please share. We want to hear your story. Comment below. Share the video if you like it, if it can help someone else, and subscribe if you like these videos. And I'll see you again later. Ciao, ciao for now.